Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Health Chats podcast. I am your host, Kelsey Grieveson, and this is a live recording from my coaching community where I go over the different types of yoga that I teach as a yoga teacher: Vinyasa, Hatha, Hat yoga, as well as Yin. There are many other types of yoga, but I am talking about these ones as they pertain to a fitness journey, some of the more physical benefits as well as the mental benefits. I hope you enjoy it. Listen in. So, different yoga classes and weight loss journey. So there's so many different types of yoga, and I know that yoga is not for everyone, and I'm never here to force yoga on anyone. I believe yoga finds you, and that's how it works. I personally have had such incredible experiences with yoga in my own life. It's why I became a teacher and why I practice it on a daily basis. If not daily, it's every second day. But I realized that not everyone really knows about yoga. So I'm going to talk about the different types of yoga that I teach. These are the ones I teach. They're not all of the yogas of the world, but these are just the few that I think can be really helpful with your weight loss journey. Whether you add it in once a week, I think can even be beneficial, not just for body, but also for mindset, because there is a big mindset component. So yoga and weight loss, the bigger picture. We all know that weight loss is not just about calories burned. We know that weight loss comes into how much movement you're doing, what the nutrition looks like, your step goals, your mindset, your stress. Yoga, as being the main topic, it works on multiple different levels. So first one, which we've talked about a ton in previous calls, is cortisol and stress reduction. So when we have chronic stress, which many of us do, sadly, in this world, because the world just kind of is stressful sometimes, it keeps our cortisol high, right? When our cortisol is high, this drives fat storage around our vital organs. It's our body trying to protect itself. So belly fat, the reason why we might have a lot of belly fat is because we have a lot of vital organs right there. So cortisol high, stress high, more belly fat, increased cravings. It makes it tougher for us to want to lose fat in the areas which we want to lose, which is often the belly, right? So yoga directly lowers cortisol. When we're doing yoga, depending on the type, and I'll go over the different types, it helps us feel more connected because often we're doing a lot of breath work in yoga. We're slowing down, we're mindful. It's not like an intense thing that we do in our life, unless you do something intense in yoga. The second one, muscle activation and toning. Now, every yoga style, it requires you to hold and move your body weight. So we don't add muscle or dumbbells or weights into yoga classes. There are some that you might see in your local gym that is like a hybrid yoga where they add in some dumbbells, but traditional yoga, there were no dumbbells back then. It was just your body weight, which helps build lean muscle and it raises your resting metabolic rate. When we have a higher metabolic rate, that's when we burn fat by simply just existing, which is really nice. So moving your body weight around, the body weight that you already have on your body can be something which a lot of you already know from doing home workouts, where some of you just use bands, you don't even use dumbbells, you still see fat loss in this program. So yoga is another version of helping you see that transformation in your body. Now, the third one, mindful eating connection. So yoga is so much more than just the physical practice. Research shows that regular yoga practitioners eat more mindfully because we are very, very mind, body, soul. I mean, the hardcore yogis, which is kind of like myself, we have fewer binges, we make better food choices, even outside of the studio. Like we are much more aware. Yoga is more than a physical practice. It's more of like a mindset practice too, which brings more awareness into every single thing you do in your life. To talk about myself for a second, I used to binge eat like crazy. I'm talking full pizzas, big things of ice cream, entire bags of dark chocolate covered almonds. They were my favorite thing ever. I would eat, and I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't know it was bad because I just wasn't aware. And yoga helped me become aware. Once you become aware, you never become unaware of why I was doing it. why I was reaching for the ice creams, for the pizzas, for the bags of chocolate, like the Costco. You guys know what I'm talking about? The Costco thing of chocolate covered almonds. It's because I was trying to make myself feel better. And yoga, through that practice, helped me learn to not do that and to be more mindful of what I was putting in my body, because it made me feel good in the moment, but later on, I never felt very good. So it helped rewire that feeling the feelings now and then feeling good later. Now, the fourth one, sleep quality and recovery. So better sleep, of course, from the nervous system effects that yoga helps with, means better hunger hormone regulation. I've talked about sleep a million times. We know the importance of it, but yoga helps with sleep and getting you to feel less ghrelin. Ghrelin is like, think of the gremlin that's like, I'm hungry, I just want to eat something. So it lowers ghrelin and increases leptin. Leptin is the satiety hormone, meaning, oh, I actually feel satisfied from what I ate today. So fewer cravings, which is really nice. And then movement you actually enjoy is just another, I guess, benefit that yoga brings to you. It really, consistency will trump intensity every single time. If you're not liking what you're doing, if you're going there to the gym, to your workout at home, and you're like, oh, I hate this, you can't force yourself to do things that you hate. So this might be more enjoyable. It might feel more connected to your body. You can do it at home. You can do it for free. It is something everyone can add in, and it might be better than the high intensity approach that maybe you were used to in the past. I know being in DTA, many of you are not doing high intensity workouts unless you're training for something high intensity specific. Like we have some girls doing high rocks, or I know one of our clients was training for a marathon a while ago, but this is taking you totally away from that high intensity approach. So many levels that it works on. Now, the first type of yoga that I want to talk about, it's called vinyasa. Has anyone heard of this before? Vinyasa? Has anyone tried it? Put your hands up, or you can put it in the chat. Vinyasa. Who's heard of vinyasa? No? So vinyasa, the word vinyasa means breath to movement. So you've maybe heard or seen teachers, maybe myself, if you follow me on Instagram, say, okay, inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach arms back up. Exhale, plant your palms and step into a plank. So there's a lot of cueing of the breath, which is not done in every form of yoga. It's also not really done in any form of exercise. But random fact actually about breath that I learned recently is research shows that fat loss is directly tied to exhaling. And this is not a topic about breath work, but I'm going to throw it in here right now because I thought about it. Many of us struggle to breathe. Many of us, we struggle to breathe because we're just not conscious and we're not thinking about it. And then maybe you get to the end of your day and you're like, it's like you were holding your breath all day, right? Like who's experienced that before where you're just like, oh my God, I just need to like let out an exhale. A sigh of relief literally relieves your body and relieves your nervous system. So the practice of vinyasa, it's all around breath and helping you train your breath into your movement, which not only has a positive effect on cardiovascular conditioning with your system, your heart is moving up and down, but it also has a positive effect on your breath and feeling more connected to your breath, not just when you're doing a class, but when you're in your day-to-day life, not holding your breath all day long, not hyperventilating, which many of us do when things feel stressful, right? So vinyasa, it's a flowing practice. It links breath to movement. It is one of the most active calorie burns on the mat, averaging between 300 and 500 calories or more if your body weight is heavier. But yeah, improves cardiovascular. It helps with full body muscle activation because you're doing things like what a chaturanga is. It's kind of like a push-up. You're doing warriors, which is kind of like doing high lunges with your arms out, planks, downward dogs. You're using a lot of core, glutes, leg strength. I love this type of class. This is what my initial training was in. And the afterburn effect gives you more oxygen consumption, right? So you keep burning calories for hours after the class because you've been breathing so dang much, which is great. More breathing. This, I would say, to be good for is someone who wants a workout that also feels meditative. So you enjoy the variety of the movement, and you're also looking for, an increase in activity. And I saw Tony commented, yeah, you've never heard of it. Absolutely. Breath, not even vinyasa, but just breath work would help so much with the fact that you have a collapsed lung. Just bringing more intention into your breath, even if it's just for 5-10 minutes a day, the body is self-healing in so many ways. So that would be really helpful. There's a book called Breath by James Nestor. I think it's called Breath or Breath Work. Definitely recommend it. And I can write that down for you too, unless you can write it down right now and remember it. But oh yeah, breathing. Breathing is everything. Next one, Hatha. Has anyone heard of Hatha yoga before? It's okay if you haven't. I asked because then I can ask you questions if you have, but no, it's okay if not. So Hatha means sun, moon. And with the sun, we have heat. With the moon, we have cool. We have the yin, we have the yang, we have the positive, we have the negative. Hatha was developed to bring in both components into a single class. This class would be more about strength, about getting stronger. You're moving really slowly. You're moving intentionally. You can think holding a lunge for like 7 breaths. So you're in this lunge shape and you're like, and I'm like lunge deeper than another breath. Yeah, like it's definitely a challenging class. But then the moon part comes in. So that would be the sun, the fire, the hard. And the moon is then you move into, say, a child's pose where you're chilling, you're relaxing, and you're breathing again for like 7 breaths, but it's more of a stretch. This one is, I think, one of the oldest types of yoga. It's a foundation, slower paced, much slower. You're holding these for, like 5 to 10 breaths. So your muscles can build more endurance. It will build lean tissue and burn fat, even at rest. Calories average 175 to 300 per hour based on your body weight. And I would say quite good for a nervous system reset. Your parasympathetic nervous system is that rest and digest side, but it comes after the class. So in the class, similar to when you're doing strength training or resistance training, you're increasing into the sympathetic nervous system. So you're stressing yourself out. You're like, okay, we're going to put tension onto my muscles. We're going to put tension onto my body. And then afterwards, it elicits you to come back down out of it. So in the long run, this reduces cortisol, which is really great. This is, again, accessible to do every day for free. You can do it from home. There's so many yogi gals on YouTube. I'm new. Don't rely just on me. There's a lot of other girls on YouTube who can give you some good classes. But I would say this is good for anyone just starting a yoga journey. So start here, start with the foundations. You'll learn the basics like warrior two, like a tree pose, like a chair pose, and then you can kind of build off of there. Good for flexibility and strength, and then stress management long term, I would say, for Hatha. Now, hot yoga. So I feel like a lot of people have heard of hot yoga. Hot yoga has become a lot more popular in the West, like in America and in Canada, because you see these videos of gals who are going to a hot yoga class and then they're just drenched in sweat. I teach hot yoga, or I taught it back home. I haven't taught in months since I've been traveling, but it can have a lot of positive benefits. Like I'm talking about it as if it's the worst thing in the world. I definitely am not saying that. I would say it's definitely just more challenging. So I'm going to say not everyone needs to do this. I'm not telling you that you need any of these actually, but I do want to share about hot yoga and some of the benefits because it can be really good for you. But I would say this isn't one you want to start with. If you're just getting into a yoga journey, I'm not going to tell anyone to hop into a yoga class. I would say start with Hatha and then move to Vinyasa and then hot yoga once you feel a little bit more comfortable with the breathing and doing the movements and holding the poses, then you can go try like a 60-minute hot yoga class, but maybe not a 90-minute, because even me, who's been practicing for like 12 years, I'm like, even when I teach it, sometimes it's really hard. So it's in a heated room between 35 and 42 Celsius. I think that's close to about 100 Fahrenheit. And this amplifies every single physical and metabolic effect. So everything you're talking about is like true. So on average, between 400 and 600 calories burned per hour, more if you weigh more, high intensity, your cardiovascular system, it works harder because it's trying to regulate body temperature. So feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm not able to breathe. When we go outside in a really hot day and your body naturally sweats, that's what it's doing, but like on an intense level because you're holding a strength pose and you're breathing through it. So your heart rate, it can go up high to like aerobic training zones, but it's without the explosive movement. So this can be compared to going for a sprint, except you're in a yoga room and you're doing a forward folds, which is kind of cool. This is helpful for flexibility because when you're in the heat, it helps deeper stretching. It can be good for warming up your muscles. Some people will stretch in their sauna at the gym at the end of a workout. Similar concept, being in the heat, it just helps for more flexibility. On the same coin, this can be risky because you might stretch past where you should be stretching and it could cause injury. So you want to be more careful with it. But the benefits for the natural detox pathways that we have is our skin and lymphatic system. These are our body's natural detox pathways. We are natural detoxifying creatures. We have a liver, we have kidneys, we have these things that help get rid of any of the bad androgens that might add up from whatever. So sweating is one of the best ways to detox. So regular hot yoga, it's been linked to better skin clarity, less inflammation, and lymphatic circulation, which were a lot of big words that I just said in a row, but it can be really helpful for all of that. Best for someone who has more yoga experience, you like the intense, immersive challenges, and you want a big caloric burn. I would say get clearance from your doctor and make sure you are very well hydrated going into one of these classes and following the class. Make sure you have an electrolyte. When I taught the yoga, I would always have a coconut water, which is like nature's electrolyte, before I went in. And then after I left, I would have salt in my water because as a teacher too, I was sweating just as much as the students. So that's the third one. Now the last one, yin yoga. Yin is like my favorite, my heart's favorite. I really like vinyasa, but I do love yin yoga. Yin is the opposite of the yang. The yang is the intense energy, the fiery energy, the masculine energy. Yin is calm, it's feminine, it's gentle, it's restorative, it's still. As women, in 2026, we need more yin because we are very much operating in the yang. We are working, we're in the workforce, we are going all of the time. And rarely do we give ourselves that time to slow down and get a massage and get a pedicure and go on a walk just to go on a walk and, not have it be tied to a goal, right? So the practice of yin yoga, it is long held poses 3 to 5 minutes, sometimes longer. I've held students in a pose for up to 8 minutes at a time. And what this does is it targets the deep connective tissue. It's called fascia in between our muscles, in between our ligaments, in between our joints. There's all of this connective tissue in there, which is tied to the nervous system. And often, if you've ever heard maybe me say or someone else say that our body keeps the score, it truly does. When we go through something stressful, you might feel grief. You might feel like mentally blurry or foggy, but you also might feel like my shoulders are a little bit more tense or like my hips are a little bit more tight. And this is often the fascial tissue holding on to whatever that stressful thing was in your life. And so when we say, hey, go for a massage, you just went through something, that massage can have a similar effect to yin, where they get deep into the fascial tissue and help release that stressful situation that your body is trying to store. So it's actually one of the most powerful yoga styles for lowering stress and lowering cortisol. It's not meant to burn a lot of calories, but of course I have here between 150 and 250 per hour based on your weight. And what the long holds do is it activates your rest and digest system very, very deeply. It reduces your stress hormone, which of course is linked to that fat storage, to the cravings. So doing a yin class, 60 to 90 minutes, can be really helpful with that domino effect of reducing binges and reducing cravings and reducing whatever other stressful coping mechanisms we might have in our life. It also helps improve circulation because of the fascia. When we're releasing that, it helps with blood flow, any chronic tension you might feel in your body, and it helps nutrients reach your muscle tissues more effectively. So overall feeling better in your body. I would say yin, or even if we don't want to call it yin, we can just call it stretching and recovery, is one of the biggest missing pieces that we have in our programs. Because again, we're yang, we're busy. It's 2026. We've got places to be and stuff to do, right? So we go from, wake up in the morning to, oh, okay, I went and did my workout. Oh, now I got to eat. Oh, now I need to go to work. And do we stretch? How often do we really stretch, right? We have a lot of intense stuff and not enough recovery. So yin fills that gap. And when we slow down, it actually allows our body to repair, to recompose, and we come back even stronger for our workouts. So I know that it can feel scary, especially if you are a go-getter, which I would say pretty much everyone here in the program is. It can feel scary to slow down because it's like, well, no, if I'm not doing and I'm not going, I'm not achieving the result. But by slowing down and letting yourself slow down, you can actually come back and achieve even greater results because you come back stronger after the recovery. So this practice is best for someone who is maybe sleep deprived. You're stressed and you've been stressed for a while and it hasn't gone anywhere. You're struggling with emotional eating. You're training really, really hard and your muscles just need a break. And of course, like addressing root causes. If you're stuck in this cycle of self-sabotage, maybe with emotional eating or with skipping your workouts or whatever it is, this will help you come more to your mind and to your heart center to understand why. Because it really brings you down and helps you sink into your body. So it's a deep practice. And that's why I love it, because I'm pretty deep. So I kind of already went over this. I don't want to repeat myself. I think all four styles, they're going to support your goals depending on where you are. I think what you can take from this is maybe just some self-reflection and homework is which one does feel the best for me and what's the best one that I can actually show up for. If I recommend anything, it's to add it in once to twice per week. So maybe that's one vinyasa and one yin. Or if you know yourself and you're like super high stressed, maybe it's 2 yins or 3 if you can. Maybe it's to try hatha as a replacement of one of your strength workouts. And I'll give you guys a couple girls from YouTube who I really like, because I am not telling any of you to go get yoga memberships. I would say try this at home first. And yeah, what yoga can't do, to wrap this up. Yoga alone, it's not enough. As much as I would love to come in here and be like, okay, yeah, let's like throw everything else out the window. Yoga is the ultimate healer. It's the prescription drug we've all been waiting for. No, it's not enough. Life is about bringing in all of it in whatever way that looks and balancing it. Because yoga is not going to create a caloric deficit that is needed for significant fat loss. We really do need to keep strength training and getting steps in. It also won't preserve muscle during weight loss. This is why we've got to keep resistance training. It will not replace nutrition. Of course, 80% of our body's composition is due to our diet. That's why we all have macro goals here. And what resistance training actually does that yoga doesn't is resistance training helps with bone density. So I'm going to continue strength training up until the day I die and get very old, along with yoga, but we got to keep resistance training. And the cardiovascular training, I would say it doesn't, it gives you some in certain types of yoga, but it's not enough as compared to pushing yourself heavy in the gym. What it's irreplaceable for, though, is reducing the stress and cortisol that sabotage every diet. I would say yoga's been my biggest helper in that, in binge eating in the past and my emotional eating patterns. It also is so good for building a body and mind connection to lead not only to mindful eating, but mindful everything. That's what I meant to put in here. Mindful everything, being mindful of how do I talk to my family? How am I speaking to my colleagues? How am I talking to myself? Just like so much more mindfulness. And it's active recovery, keeps you moving your body, training consistently without burning out. It helps with sleep quality. And is something that you might actually enjoy as movement in your life. So the best yoga class is the one you show up for. I'll leave you gals with that. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was from this. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you thought. I'll see you soon. Bye.